are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty.
So what's up, guys? So I started my YouTube channel over 10 years ago. I have like 4 in total. But then I ended up realizing that PCOS was my niche, so I've stuck with PCOS for a really long time. And though I was on YouTube pretty heavy back in the day, they ended up changing the way they monetize things, so I ended up losing my privileges of monetization, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I just stopped posting for YouTube. I've been posting on TikTok consecutively. I've been posting on Instagram, now Pinterest. I'm on Threads. I actually kind of fuck with Threads. I'm back. So get used to seeing this face. And if you're still trying to learn PCOS, I'm your girl. And we're going to do this together. So the first time I was diagnosed with PCOS, I wasn't really familiar with the diagnosis. So basically I went in because I was bleeding really heavy for about a year, like 11 months, I want to say. And it was like every day almost. So I would bleed for 3 weeks out of the month, and then if I'm lucky, get a week off, and then I would bleed for 27 days. Like, it was just crazy. When I walked to this doctor's office by my dad's house, I want to say I was around 16, 17, maybe closer to 17. I ended up speaking to him, and he told me that I was forming pearl necklaces, and that when I ovulate, I should be forming pearl balls, but mine were necklaces. Basically, the balls weren't dropping, honey. Okay. And because of that, I was going to have issues with fertility down the long haul. And if I wanted to have kids, I would have to come back to him and XYZ. All I heard was no kids. You know what that means for someone who's young? No kids, good. There's not going to be one scare. Honey, I'm 33. There has not been a scare yet, okay? He put me on birth control and basically just told me to have a healthy lifestyle. But the sad part about it is I took birth control for less than a week because it made me really sick, really, really sick. And I didn't want to have to continue throwing up. And people said you have to get past that and then it's just smooth sailing from there. No, thank you. No, thank you. What is it doing to my body that it's making me throw up? I took the birth control for less than a week, and then my periods went straight to normal. And they've been normal ever since. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, it was the birth control, because it was at first, but it's also like the healthy lifestyle that I was living for so long that made my periods become regular. So after he gave me that little diagnosis and my periods went back to normal, I kind of just forgot about PCOS. Even though he didn't really say the words PCOS, I just kind of forgot about my diagnosis because there was nothing in the way until I was like 23 or 24. And my face just started getting really bad acne, like really bad acne. I'll go ahead and insert a photo so that you guys can see how bad this acne was. Cystic acne. Your girl has cystic acne. I'm talking about both sides of my face, my chin, my forehead. I used to wear so much makeup and always like make sure my hair was in my face because I was so insecure about it. I stopped eating chicken. I stopped like with milk and dairy products completely. Still to this day, I don't do dairy like that. I say like that because I will have an occasional cheese or like an ice cream or something. I feel like ice cream isn't even like a thing anymore for real, but I was cutting all these things out of my diet and my face was still riddled with acne. I went back to the doctor and I told him, hey, I think I have PCOS. And he was like, why do you think that? I said, well, I listed my symptoms. I have insomnia, I have cystic acne, I have weight gain, and they all are pointing to PCOS. So he sent me to an endocrinologist and I got my blood work done. And then when I came back to the office for my results, he was like, oh, you have PCOS. And I was like, oh my God, am I a doctor? Am I a doctor? Did I just diagnose myself? Then I worked with the endocrinologist like 2 times after that. And he basically was just like, you need to go on a diet, go to the gym and eat healthy and get on birth control. I did not get on birth control. And then he tried to put me on metformin. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. Because again, he wasn't explaining what the metformin was for. One day, I want to say a month after I got the prescription, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to get the metformin. As I was driving to the CVS, my metformin prescription flew out the window into traffic. So I took that as a sign and did not take metformin. What did I do differently? You may or may not believe me, but this like couple that used to like make and sell edibles in Orlando was like, hey, do you mind, like pushing our edibles? Because at the time I had a big following and a lot of people knew me in Orlando. I was like, yeah, like I got you. So I talked to my brother and I talked to my homegirl and I was like, yo, what should I do? Because I don't do that. I don't do the devil's lettuce. And so they were like, yo, just get it anyways, and we'll be your testers for you. So I was like, you know what? Good idea. So I got the edibles, and there were these big blocks of like Rice Krispie treats. And if I find a picture, I'll post it. And my brother and my sister ate it. They loved it. They devoured it. They said it gave them great results. So I started reading into like, edibles and what it could do for the body. And it was talking about how it can help with lower inflammation and it can help with sleep. And at the time, your girl could not sleep. Not only was I dealing with PCOS, I was working 3 jobs at the time and I was in school full time. So sleep, there was no sleep, honey. I didn't even know how to spell sleep back then. Sleep, I was like, you know what? I don't smoke. I've never done any of these things. So, I've tried it. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't for me. I was like, let me just try this edible. So I got into bed, got ready to like close my eyes, and I took a chunk of it out and ate it and went to sleep. Y'all, do y'all know I woke up the next day at almost noon? I was so groggy. I still never forget like how I felt that day and the visuals in my room. Like I was almost like, where am I? Where am I? I slept until almost noon. And even though I felt groggy, it felt so good to sleep until noon because I used to wake up every other hour if I did fall asleep. And if I did fall asleep, it would be like 4 o'clock. I have to get up at 9 because I work all these other extensive jobs into the middle of the night. So I need to sleep through the day. It was a lot. After I realized how good that edible was for my sleep, I started taking chunks every single night. I was just getting these edibles from this couple. And next thing you know, little by little, my face cleared up. The only thing different that I had did in my routine was add edibles. Now, I learned so much about why the edibles helped with sleep and how important sleep is if you have PCOS and why my acne cleared up later. So if you guys want a story on that, I will tell y'all. But it made sense. And so I definitely give edibles, Mary Jane, a big thank you for being a part of my journey in PCOS. It might not be everybody else's, but it's definitely mine. So super, super glad about that. And then after that, I've kind of just been sailing my way, gradually just kept getting up there and up there and up there. And then I would start going to the gym and I would literally transform my body to look just like how I like it, but I would still kind of weigh the same. So I wasn't really losing any fat or any weight. My body would pretty much recomp like every time I go to the gym. There's a right way and a wrong way in a sense to kind of work out if you have PCOS. I can do another video solely about that. So with the weight gain and everything, there was just a lot happening with my body that for a while, I just genuinely didn't know that it was PCOS related. When my face was really cleared from the cystic acne, I actually got on social media and I was like, hey guys, I know I haven't been posting a lot and this is the reason why. It garnered over 100,000 views on this one video about PCOS and everybody just flooded me with so much love. And this was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know, it was a while, okay? I still have the pictures and screenshots of that. Once I realized that I had PCOS the second time around when I went to see an endocrinologist, I really started doing a lot of research into food, activities, how you should be working out, insulin, and I started teaching people what I would learn. If I would read like a clinical study or something, I would post about it or make a video about it and tell people where I found the information. A lot of people are still reading at a 6th grade level in the United States. So I can't expect, nobody can expect for someone to just go research things and really get a good understanding because they might not understand a lot of the research. So I felt like it was my duty to get online and talk about my PCOS journey and what's helped me, what hasn't, how relatable we really are, and you're not by yourself in this, I promise you. Now, I am 33 years old, crazy, and I have been teaching about PCOS for almost a decade now. I love what I do. I love talking about this. I love meeting new people. I love being a nerd about it. I don't know. It's just so much fun for me. And it's still new. We're still learning about it every day, every month, every year. There's always something new coming out. Like the name PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, but you don't even need cysts on your ovaries to be someone who has PCOS. You don't have to have irregular periods to have PCOS. These are just like misconceptions that we've had for a really long time, right? They're even trying to change the name to MRS, which is metabolic reproductive syndrome, which aligns a lot with the symptoms of PCOS and what's going on with your body and your hormones. It's just a lot. I'm glad to be back on here and talk to you guys about PCOS, more about my journey, the things that I've learned. I'm a certified yapper, baby. I'm gonna yap. So if you're like learning and you want to be a part of a community, right here, babes. If you missed last year's PCOS con, it's coming back this year. I'm actually gearing up with my friend Talia, and we're gonna do something for the PCOS community. So make sure you got your coins ready, baby, because out of town, thugging with my rhymes. But anyway, sorry. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my short little story about, my diagnosis with PCOS and where we have come. There's just so much more in between all of that. And truthfully, we got enough time to talk about it here on YouTube. So welcome. It's nice to meet you. If you want to introduce yourself in the comments, I would love that. I love y'all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, chica.